To be able to make any kind of facility, we need a gravel to make foundations where the facilities are placed upon. To make gravel, we need coal, so we press M to open the map and we look for the coal icon. We then hover over the coal field and we see that there is still coal available, so we drive up to that coal field over there. When we are at the coal field, we hop out of our truck, we press 1 to equip our hammer and walk up to the coal nodes and hold down the left mouse button to farm coal. Coal will go straight into our inventory, so if we press a tab, we can see that we have 85 coal now in our inventory, so we keep hammering until our inventory is full. Once our inventory is full, we deposit coal into our truck. So we press E to open the truck and shift click on the coal stacks to bring them into the inventory of our truck. And we farm more coal until our truck is full. Now that our truck is full, we need to bring the coal to a refinery. So we press M to open our map and we look for the hammer icon on the map. And we can see that in Light Vehilce Station, there is a refinery there. So we'll drive to that refinery with a truck full of coal. Now that we are close to the refinery, we drive up to the refinery till it says press E to use refinery in the bottom left. We press E to open the menu of the refinery. And in the refinement panel in the middle, we can see that there is an icon for coal and that 5 coal will be made into 1 gravel. To start refining all the coal that I have in the inventory of my truck, I can simply hold shift and left click on the coal icon and that will pull the entire truck empty, and we can see that it will start refining coal into gravel. This will take 5 minutes and 50 seconds roughly, and then our 1500 coal will be made into 300 gravel. Besides gravel for the foundations, we also need basic materials to build ourselves a construction vehicle, to build ourselves a diesel power plant and a materials factory. To get basic materials, we press M to open the map and we look for the salvage icon. And we can use that salvage in the refinery to make basic materials. And while we're at it, we should make salvage into diesel as well to fire up our diesel power plant. We hover over this salvage field, we can see that it still has 150 nodes left to spawn. So let's just move there and farm some salvage. To farm the salvage, we hop out of our truck, press 1 to equip our hammer and walk up to the salvage nodes and hold down the left mouse button to start farming the salvage. When our inventory is full, we just walk up to our truck, and when we're close to our truck, we press E to open the inventory and shift click on the stacks of salvage to transport them into our truck. Now that our truck is full with salvage, we'll bring it to the refinery and start refining it into basic materials. Now that we're at the refinery, we press E to open the refinery and we go to the top of the refinement panel and we simply shift click on the salvage icon in front of the basic materials, and that will start refining the entirety of the contents of our truck into basic materials. We also want to make ourselves some diesel to be able to fuel our diesel power station, so we drive back to a salvage field, harvest salvage, and turn that into diesel. We come to the refinery and press E to open the refinery panel, and we go to the salvage icon in front of the diesel jerry can, and if we shift click on that, it will pull the entire truck empty and we'll start refining our salvage into diesel. Before we start building our foundations for our facilities, we need to be sure that we have ample room to place the foundations that we need. Now, I want to make a facility that has a not too big a footprint, probably around 6 foundations. So this space over here should be enough to house 6, maybe 8 foundations, so that is good. We are also very close to a relic base, which is helpful because that can help us prevent decay. Now, to start constructing our foundations, we need 2 things. We need our gravel and we need a CV. So let's grab our gravel from the refinery and grab some B mats as well so we can build the CV here at the relic base. To make our 6 foundations, we need a 900 gravel. So if we come to our refinery and we press E to open our refinery, we can see that we have a 1200 gravel in our gravel queue. Now I can click on the gravel icon and that will pull 1200 of the gravel into my truck. Another way of doing it is I need basic materials anyway, so I might as well just pull in my basic materials. This will leave open 7 slots, and 7 slots equals a 700 gravel. So if we bring 150 basic materials into the refinery inventory and we now click on the gravel icon, we can see that we have a 900 gravel because it filled the 9 empty slots. To be able to build ourselves a construction vehicle, we need to be near a home spawn point. A home spawn point is either a town base, a relic base, a border base, or a deployed landing ship. To do that, you equip your hammer, you grab 100 basic materials, you press B to open your build menu. In the base category, we can see that the construction vehicle is here. If we click on it, we get the blueprint underneath our mouse cursor. And when we're happy with the placement, we left click to place the blueprint, we walk up to it and hold down the left mouse button and hammer in the basic materials. Now that the construction vehicle is ready, we can load our gravel into our construction vehicle. So we walk to our truck, grab the gravel out of it, walk up to the construction vehicle, press E to open its inventory and place the gravel inside. Then we hop in the driver's side and drive to where we want to place our foundations. To place our foundations, we simply press a B to open the build menu and go to the foundation tab. With the foundation tab open, we select the 2x2 foundation, which is the biggest foundation. And we left click to select a 2x2. This will put the blueprint of the foundation underneath our mouse cursor. If we hold down the right mouse button, we can change the orientation of the foundation. So I want to have it alongside the road. If we try to place it on the road, we can see that it says surface not suitable. If we are close to the road and alongside it, if we now left click, it will place the blueprint. If we drive up to it and hold down the left mouse button, we will start hammering in the gravel into the foundation. If we are not happy with the placement of the foundation, we can hop out of the CV, equip our hammer, press F to go into upgrade mode. And if we aim at the foundation, we can see the health, the builder, and the faction. And if we now press E to go into the upgrade menu, in the actions panel, we can see we have 2 options. One is the demolish option, and we can see that I need to be the original builder or in the reserved squad to be able to do this. There must be no enemies nearby, so you can't do this at the front line. It must be done within 3 hours of construction. Well, I just built it, so I am still able to do that. If the 3 hours already lapse, the only option is to use the other action, which is a flag for disruptive placement. If enough people flag something for disruptive placement of a facility, you can blow it up with explosives. If it doesn't have enough flags for disruptive placement, it will not take friendly fire. If we want to remove this foundation, we can simply click the demolish button and we get a panel that asks us if we are sure. If we are sure, we click demolish and we can see that blows up our foundation. This will leave a crate with dropped items. We press E, we can see we get our 150 gravel back. So let's place our foundations. The first facility I want to build is the diesel power generator over here. For that, if we press a B and go to the power tab, we can see that we need 150 basic materials. So we select the diesel power plant by left clicking on it, and that will put the blueprint underneath our mouse cursor. We can see that on the left side of the diesel power generator is a input pipe, so we can use that later on if we want to connect a pipeline that will pump in fuel into the diesel power generator. If we rotate the diesel power generator blueprint, we can see that on the right side is the connection point for the electricity that goes out out of the diesel power station. Now, since I want my materials factory and my light vehicle assembly station to the right of my diesel power plant, I just place the diesel power generator like this, and once the blueprint turns yellow, it means that I can place it. I left click to place the blueprint, drive up to it with my construction vehicle, and start hammering in the basic materials by holding down the left mouse button. So now that the diesel powered plant is ready, if we go into the build menu and we go to the facilities tab, we can see that if we hover over the light vehicle assembly station, that we need 75 construction materials to build that. And the only way to get construction materials is either bartering with people with another facility. In this case, we're going to build our own materials factory. The materials factory is built with 200 basic materials. With the 200 basic materials in our construction vehicle, we press a B to open the build menu and we select the materials factory by left clicking on it. This will put the blueprint of the materials factory underneath our mouse cursor. If we hold down the right mouse button, we can change the orientation of the blueprint. We can see on the left side that there is a pipeline input for the materials factory. That is for one of the upgrades of the materials factory that uses petrol, and that is a way to pump petrol in. What we are interested in is on the other side of the materials factory, and we can see that above the door is the connection point for power. We want to have the connection point for power oriented towards the connection point of power of the diesel power plant, which is on this side of the diesel power plant. So we rotate our materials factory like this, and if we place it here, and we turn around, we should be able to connect this with a power pole to that. We now drive our CV towards our materials factory and start hammering in the basic materials. Now that the materials factory is ready, we make sure that we squad lock the facility. So we come to the diesel power plant till it says in the bottom left, press E to use diesel power plant. That will open up the menu of the diesel power plant. And in the middle panel, in the actions panel all the way in the bottom, we can see that there is a button that says reserve for active squad. And this will reserve this structure for my current active squad. It will prevent other players from upgrading or attaching other structures. So we reserve it for our active squad. We can see that it has been reserved for 52 hours. We have to renew the squad lock within that time frame, because once the squad lock lapses, you will not get it back. So if you try to relock it for your squad and you are outside that time period, it will say that it lapsed and that you are not able to do that anymore.
And we do the same thing for the materials factory.
Next, we want to connect a diesel power plant with the materials factory through power lines. And in order to draw power lines, we need a power pole, because power lines can only be drawn from a power pole to a facility, not the other way around. Press a B to open our build menu. We go to the power category and select the power pole. We place the power pole by left clicking and then walk up to the blueprint and start hammering in the BMATs by holding down the left mouse button. To place those power lines, we press a B to open the build menu. We select the power line, and as we can see, if we try to connect it to the diesel power plant, it won't. If we come close to the power pole, it will automatically snap to the power pole. So we left click, that will place the one end of the power line on the power pole, and we can see if we come close to the diesel power plant, it will connect and snap to the diesel power plant. So if we left click, that will connect the power line from the diesel power plant to the power pole. We do the same thing from the power pole to the materials factory. We connect it to the power pole by left clicking and make sure that it snaps to the materials factory, and then left click, and we can see we have two lines. Now there's two things left for us to start producing the construction materials. One is adding salvage to the stockpile of the materials factory, and the other is making sure that the diesel tank of the diesel power plant is filled with diesel. Now that I have a truck full of salvage, we drive it up to our materials factory. When we are close to it, it will say in the bottom left, press E to use materials factory. So we press E to open the materials factory. And now if we go to the panel that has the inventory of my truck, I can right click on the salvage and say submit all to stockpile.
That will put it into the stockpile of the materials factory.
And if we look at the recipe of the materials factory, we can see that 10 salvage will become 1 construction material as soon as we can power this up. Now, all that is left to do is to fuel our diesel power plant. One way to refuel the diesel power plant is by hand, by equipping diesel jerry cans and refueling the diesel power plant that way. Another way and a quicker way is to build ourselves a fuel truck. So we come to the garage, we press E to open the garage, and we select the done fuel runner. That will cost us 100 basic materials. We click on it, that will place the blueprint, and we hold down the left mouse button to hammer in the basic materials. Now that our fuel truck is ready, we drive up to the refinery, and if we are close to the refinery and press E to open it, we can see that earlier we started a queue for diesel. Now the easiest way to fill our fuel truck with diesel is to simply click on the diesel in our refinement queue, and that will fill our fuel truck instantly. We drive our fuel truck very close towards the diesel power plant, which is over here, until it says in the bottom left, press E to use diesel power plant. We press E to open it up. And in the stockpile panel, in the diesel category, we can simply click the refuel button, and that will throw a hose from our fuel truck towards the diesel power plant. The tank of the diesel power plant will contain at a maximum 1,000 liters of diesel, which is equivalent to 10 jerry cans of diesel from our fuel truck. As long as the diesel power plant has more than 25 liters of diesel in its fuel tank, it will produce 5 megawatts of power. If we want to stop creating power, we can simply click on the switch on the recipe, and that will turn off the diesel power plant. As we can see, we are producing no power right now. And if we click it again and turn it on, so it turns green, we are producing 5 megawatts of power for 45 seconds at the cost of 25 liters. While we are providing power, we can see that our materials factory is also working. So if we come to our materials factory and press E to open it, we can see that already we turned 20 salvage into 2 construction materials. The same applies over here. If we want to stop producing construction materials, we can click the switch over here. That will turn off the recipe. And if we click it again, it will turn it on, and we will start producing construction materials again. To build a light vehicle assembly station, we need 75 construction materials. As we can see, if we press a B to open the build menu and go to the facilities tab, if we hover over the light vehicle assembly station, we can see that it will cost us 75 construction materials, and it requires a construction vehicle. We are already in our construction vehicle. If we press E to open our materials factory, we can see that in the stockpile currently is 79 construction materials. To retrieve those construction materials into our construction vehicle, we can simply hold down the Shift key and click on the construction materials in the stockpile. That will start assembling 30 construction materials from the stockpile into the construction vehicle. We need a 75, so we can do this 3 times, and it will try to pull 30, but it only had 20, so it will put 20 in. We now have 80 construction materials in our construction vehicle. We can escape out of this menu, Press B to open the build menu, and in the facilities tab, select the light vehicle assembly station by left clicking on it. This will put the blueprint of the light vehicle assembly station underneath our mouse cursor. If we now press and hold down the middle mouse button, we can change our view a bit so we can see what we are doing. And if we then hold down the right mouse button, we can see that we can turn the orientation of our light vehicle assembly station. We do this so we can see that on the back of the light vehicle assembly station is the power connection point. And since we have our power pole over here, we want to have our power connection point at that end. So we orient our light vehicle assembly station like this, and we can see as long as it's nicely placed on the foundation, it will turn yellow. We can then left click to place it, drive up with the CV, hold down the left mouse button, and start hammering in the construction materials. Now that the light vehicle assembly station is built, we can hop out of our CV and walk up to the light vehicle assembly station. If we press E to open its menu, we can see that in order to produce anything, we need 2 megawatts of power. So what we could do is connect our light vehicle assembly station through the power pole to the diesel power plant. But since we are not producing anything right now with the light vehicle assembly station, we might as well not connect it and only do that as soon as we need it.